Just before we have a look at these new tariffs and how they might affect Thailand, just a quick invitation to subscribe to the channel. Would be most grateful. You get this otherwise for free. Good morning. Welcome to a very quick TNT update. This is in regards to the tariffs announced overnight, just gone 8 a.m. here. Just some very quick information about what we know at the moment. We wake up to crippling tariffs here in Thailand. In fact, the whole world has woken up to tariffs. The United States has gone to war with the rest of the world. Well, economic war anyway. So it is going to affect some countries more than others. The developing countries around Southeast Asia particularly hard hit, as is China. The UK would sort of be, for the very first time since the Brexit vote, be saying, gee, we're actually going to get something good out of the Brexit vote, in that they've only been applied 10% general tariffs, while the EU has been stuck with 25%. Now, we'll go through some more specific information about Thailand in a moment, but let's go to the general news, what's happening here, and we go to the BBC. It was just Dusty jumping off the table. Trump's tariffs on China, EU and more at a glance. There's this rather bizarre situation, just signing off on the tariffs there, but he had the whole bookie card out at one stage. Just a cheap piece of cardboard, looked like he was doing a Eurovision countdown. But let's go to the information. And Donald Trump announced a sweeping new set of reciprocal tariffs on Wednesday, arguing that they would allow the US to succeed. And Trump's tariffs, which will be imposed via executive order, are expected to send economic shockwaves around the world. They released a list of roughly 100 countries and the tariff rates. And the article just at the bottom there says, in addition, the president announced the US would impose a 25% tariff on all foreign-made automobiles. And those tariffs would go into effect almost immediately at midnight on the 3rd of April. To this article, published on Kaohoon International, in this article saying President Donald Trump introduced a sweeping policy of global reciprocal tariffs during a White House event. He established a baseline 10% tariff on all imported goods, with certain nations facing even higher rates. And that includes Thailand. And Trump conveyed a sentiment that allies can sometimes be more challenging than adversaries in terms of trade policies. And he said in many cases the friend is worse than the foe in terms of trade. It said the tariffs varied significantly, ranging from 10% to as high as 50%. And Thailand was notably highlighted as facing a 36% import tariff from the US, after it was perceived to be imposing a 72% rate on American products. With this measure from top to bottom, Thailand stood 14th in rank among those countries affected by these elevated tariffs. But considering the midpoint between 10 and 50%, Thailand is just slightly above the middle of the pack. Well, be that as it may, it's still a crippling tariff for Thai exports to the US. And just going through the leaderboard here, Lesotho has got the full 50%. Then we've got Cambodia, Laos, Madagascar, Vietnam, Myanmar, Sri Lanka. A lot of these countries, as you can see, already in or around Southeast Asia. Then we've got Mauritius, Guyana, Liechtenstein, Bangladesh, Serbia, Botswana, then Thailand at 36, Bosnia-Herzegovina, then China. This is a big one at 34% tariff. And just going down to the other end, there's a whole lot of countries here on 10%. Nigeria, Oman, Uruguay, Bahamas, Ukraine, Bahrain, Qatar, Iceland, Kenya, and you've got Chile, Australia, Turkey, Colombia, Peru, Costa Rica, blah, 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 and Morocco down the bottom. Some of those countries will be doing minimal export to the United States anyway. So this is all a bit of a show, but it is going to have an impact certainly on the stocks in Asia. The stock market's opening up in the next couple of hours, and I think we'll be able to witness quite a steep decline. As to how it's going to affect the Dow and the Nasdaq, things like Bitcoin and other coins is yet to be seen over the next couple of weeks and months. But to this story from the Bangkok Post, Thailand eager for trade talks with the US. You bet. It says Thailand's keen to engage in constructive discussions with the US to foster mutual benefits amid trade tensions. And this article must have come out before the tariff was announced. They said higher US tariffs. I'm pretty sure they weren't expecting 36%. On Thai products could result in losses of $7 to $8 billion, according to the Commerce Ministry. I expect those loss projections to be way over that figure by the time they get out of bed this morning and start counting on their abacus. And the Permanent Commerce Secretary said that the implications of these tariffs are notable, given that the US market makes up 20% of global trade and serves as a major partner for Thai exports. And the article says the initial round of US tariffs has already affected Thai exports, particularly for steel and aluminium, where tariffs surged from rates of about 12.5% to 25% and from 6.25% to 25% for aluminium. That started on March the 12th. And for automobiles and auto parts, this sector is slated for tariff increases from 4.9% to 25%, and that starts today. So exactly how this is all going to wash out, we won't really know for the next weeks and months. There'll be pundits getting up this morning, getting out their calculators and trying to figure out how a 36% across the board tariff for Thai exports to the US is going to affect things, but it'll be a while until we fully understand. I mean, the whole world economy is so intertwined these days. After 3 or 4 decades of increased globalization, it's going to be hard to predict exactly how all this is going to wash out. Now, one thing's for sure, it's not going to help the local economies, and it's certainly not going to help the US economy. US citizens will be paying more for, well, just about anything that comes into the country from outside of the United States. I get it, they're trying to encourage manufacturers to move into the United States, but even if they decided today, well, we better go and set up something in Seattle or in, New Orleans, well, it's going to take 5 to 7 years until that first widget starts rolling off the factory floor. So we're in for a bit of turmoil as the United States has decided it's going to have this economic war across the world, and these tariffs are going to be felt, and I think felt particularly badly here in Thailand. We'll just have to wait for the next couple of weeks to work out how bad it's going to be. Thanks for watching.